We got a brilliant question in today, my friends, from one of our viewers. And the question is about how do I ensure Suno music does not infringe on others' work? So look at this as a guide to responsible use of AI generated music. I am not a legal practitioner. This is my common sense and studied approach to staying clear of issues. Now, even human created music has its own potential for liabilities. How much more AI generated music? So let's get that off the table right off the bat. You are not 100% foolproof when it comes to this area. You could be just composing from something in your brain, but it sounds exactly like what you might have or not have heard. You get what I'm saying? So the very first piece of advice I would give you to minimize any issues is number one, you gotta use your own lyrics, your own writing. Make sure your lyrical input is original. Use things that you've written yourself. Only provide Suno with lyrics that you know for a fact have your fingerprint on them, right? If you borrow any lines or phrases or even a song title from an existing song, you could be liable for copyright infringement. So you need to tread very carefully. Okay? Avoid any copyrighted material whatsoever. And you need to refrain from feeding any AI tool copyrighted song titles or lyrics. Also, artist names. This could lead to the generation of derivative material. Okay, I have covered this in a previous video, so please look at all my videos concerning Suno TOS. A big no-no is putting in any artist name at any level. Secondly, the copyrighted musical styles and prompts, you also have to avoid this. Okay, even a band name, you cannot do that. Typically, Suno will prevent you from doing it, but just in case it slips through, be aware that this is not acceptable. If you engage in such practices and it becomes a repeated occurrence, you could very well be setting yourself up for further problems. So follow my advice, my friends. I would say you can request something more generic, like an upbeat theatrical rock song, without mentioning the name of an artist. Do not say, oh, give me a song in the style of Queen. Don't do that. Okay? Understand that musical styles themselves are not copyrightable. Even chord progressions are generally not. So I would say if you are looking to stay out of the landmines, definitely do not use ideas from any other song. Just go with what you are imagining. Another thing you should absolutely do is understand Suno's copyright and ownership policies. There are a few videos about this on YouTube. With a free plan, you have non-commercial use only. And then you must give attribution as well. For paid plans, the rights are assigned to you, including commercial use. There are copyright limitations for AI-only work, so be aware of that. You cannot copyright a work that was created solely with AI without any human input. Okay? And just remember, your original lyrics remain your intellectual property. That's not going to be taken away from you. The fourth point I would recommend is that you make significant edits to whatever you are doing in Suno. So, for example, if you started off with a line and you are able to generate some output, you might want to significantly modify that output by adding your own instrumentation. There are a number of tracks I do, not all of them, but a number of them I do. I will add instruments or vocals or change things or cut things or even master it all over again so it sounds significantly different. Okay, so do that, move things to your DAW, use the stems, cut them up, and put considerable work in if you really mean business. Just use Suno stuff as a demo. Maybe you use it as a demo for your band and you have people who can sing and play on top of that. Yeah. Re-record the instrumentation and the vocals yourself, and this also increases human involvement and it will make a stronger case for copyright ownership. Okay. All right. Last but not least, be aware of legal challenges. You do know there are ongoing lawsuits where Suno is concerned. Major record labels have filed lawsuits against Suno, alleging that the company illegally trained its AI on their copyrighted material. And while Suno claims this falls under fair use, the issue hasn't been resolved by the courts. And that means there is some inherent risk to using the platform, that's for sure. Could they in the future say, hey, if you created anything of ours, with our tool, take it all down? Such is quite radical and quite unlikely, but if it were to happen, you need to understand everything in life has some element of risk. We have something we call risk appetite. For me, the risk appetite is how much risk do I want to take on to pursue my vision of hearing my music in a different world, in a different way, or having my collaborator. I'm not fixing to wait another 2 years for them to get this dumb lawsuit over. I will create, and whatever the consequences, I will just have to be ready to deal with it. That's my perspective. I'm not going to wait on the sidelines, idly by, doing no creativity with AI when I could. Yes, there's a calculated risk. My perception of how the AI tools are trained may be very different from others. While people look at AI training as stealing, any AI training, the moment they hear it's AI, whether there's a deal struck or not, they don't care. But that's not my perspective. I know how the tool learns, so I take a calculated risk. And I've documented that in other videos. And to some other people, they're like, no, it's so big a risk. And AI will steal your songs. And Suno will steal. Suno is looking for quality control people. They're not looking to take your music and make your music theirs. That's, at least right now, that's the least of their worries. The biggest of their worries right now is that litigation going on. So, yeah, I've taken a calculated risk, such as many others, and I'm not bothered. You only live once. Do what you need to do for yourself. I do what I need to do for myself. But for those who have decided to take the risk and minimize the risk by doing these things that I mentioned, they're probably going to have a blast. Because, there's so many people who use Suno today. Suno is not just used by people who are putting music out. Suno is being used for therapy. It's been used for people that have mental health issues, and they're using this as a great therapy and coping mechanism for what they're going through. Some people are just plain up bored. Some people are looking for a creativity boost, and they may not be putting this stuff out, but they're getting ideas from the tool. You see what I'm saying? If you really wanted to take the most radical step with Suno, the most radical step will be don't publish, don't public. What do I mean by that? Don't publish any of your works and don't go public. And in that way, what you create is just known to you. And you can use that to create other things. You could use that to do whatever you wish, but the output from Suno will never be published. It's a bit more radical, but if you're looking to avoid the landmines and ensure that your Suno music doesn't infringe on others' work, then you might, again, just want to not publish it, not go public. Just enjoy it in the background. It's a very radical step, but at least that will take you closer to your end goal. I hope you found value from this. If you did, smash that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.